Jai Hind students. Today we will study another topic of the chapter 5 fundamental unit of life of class 9, that is mitochondria, right? So this mitochondria, it is a cell organelle. We call it as powerhouse of the cell also. Clear? So these mitochondrias, the structure, if we study of it, it is double membranous. So it is a membranous structure. So it is understood that it is present in eukaryotes or eukaryotic organism, yeah, eukaryotic cells. Okay. So double membranous. So if we draw its diagram, so it will be like this. This is will be outer membrane, and its membrane is porous. Here we are drawing a rough sketch of mitochondria. If we draw the inner membrane, right, it is very folded. Clear? So like the way we have put a bigger bag in a smaller bag, it is something like that. This. So this inner membrane, it is folded, and this increases its surface area. So surface area of inner membrane is much more than that of outer membrane. So this is outer membrane and this is inner membrane. So it is a double membranous structure. And this inner membrane, here the process of ATP generation, the chemical reaction through which the ATP generate is occur in this inner membrane, right? So what is the ATP? Full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate, right? So this ATP is generated, and how it is generated? Like the food we eat. This is a simple form of the food, that is the digested form, right? It goes to mitochondria, right? Oxygen also enters into mitochondria, and here with this it breaks down CO2, formation of CO2, water, and formation of this ATP. So this ATP generation reaction, this occurs in this inner membrane. Okay, and this ATP are synthesized in this in mitochondria. That's why this mitochondria is also called as powerhouse of the cell. Right? So it is a double membranous structure, so present in eukaryotes. Outer membrane is very porous, and inner membrane is deeply folded, the way we have shown in diagram. And these folds create a large surface area for ATP generating chemical reaction. So this folding increases the surface area, and what happens here? There is a generation of ATP. So that chemical reaction occurs, and this gives a larger area for this reaction. How it happens? Through this example we have shown, like this food burns in the presence of oxygen and release of CO2, water, and this ATP. And this ATP is adenosine triphosphate. That's why it's called the powerhouse of the cell. One more thing about mitochondria is that mitochondria has its own DNA and ribosomes. Right? DNA, as we have studied in nucleus, that the deoxyribose nucleic acid, it's a genetic material. Right? Full form of DNA is, if we write the full form of DNA is deoxyribose nucleic acid. Clear? So this DNA and ribosome, so they both are required for the synthesis of proteins. So how this protein is formed through DNA? DNA, they form RNA, and RNA form protein. Here ribosome is required. From RNA to protein formation, ribosomes are required. So because this present in the mitochondria can make its own protein. This is a very important property of mitochondria. That's why we call it also semi-autonomous, because it can prepare its own protein organelle. So mitochondria has its own DNA and ribosome, and with the help of these DNA and ribosome, they make their own proteins, and this is the way they make proteins: DNA to RNA and RNA to protein. Here at this stage they need ribosome. Clear? So this much is there for mitochondria in your syllabus, and in next video we will discuss one more organelle. Thank you students.